was originally going to set up here when I first started streaming, but there's really loud traffic sounds, and I'm hoping with the headphones, it's going to mask that, hopefully. You know, if you're noticing it's not. So we're going to be prepping some more of these little guys. This is basically just a CVM bat that I've started stripping and what's the word? Pre-drafting, and then spinning onto here, as you can see. This is what the rest of the bat looks like. It's quite a bit of it. So we're going to do a bit more of the bat stripping and then probably do a bit of spinning. I've already discovered that morning streams are not a great idea for me because I feel very stiff, very old. No problem. And let me know if you're having any troubles hearing me, or actually rather if you could let me know that you are hearing me in chat, that would be super appreciated. God. There's so much little like bits of VM in here. That are like really pokey, and they kind of stick me sometimes. It's not anywhere near as bad as there's this one fine wool double-A fleece that was just absolutely gorgeous wool, and also really cheap. In retrospect, that is a warning sign. But it wasn't jacketed, which meant that, you know, it had been out gambolling in the thistles and everything like that. And literally every single inch of this incredibly beautiful soft fleece was covered in super spiky thistles. And I think I tried to work with it for about 4 years with multiple different expensive specialized tools, and never did get it spinnable easily in a way that was worth it. So this is definitely not as bad as that. That one was just like straight to Splinter City. But yeah, even with like pre-drafting, you can see it's not exactly even. Like there's still a lot of slubs and there's a lot of dust. I almost wish that I'd made the choice to wash this before I did anything with it, but they told me it was washed. When I bought it, they said they washed it. And I could still feel some lanolin and a tiny bit of dust, but I didn't think it'd be as bad as it was. But I also think my standards for washing are like, I mean, everybody has different standards. I like very specific amounts of grease in my wool and no dust, which is not necessarily how most other people process fleece. Sorry, I notice my hands keep migrating out of frame, as they always do. My cat is so mad. She was sitting in this chair. Like I had my stream set up and I was just trying to finish baking the stuff I had in the oven. And she got up to like sit in here. And then when it was time to stream, I had to move her. And she's like giving me the stink eye nonstop right now. She's very mad. So the reason that we're pre-drafting all of this, as opposed to just spinning it, is that this sort of homogenizes the locks a little more. The locks in the bat are barely opened. And so when I tried to spin this just straight off the bat, it was pretty unspinnable actually. Like one lock ended and then there was nothing attaching it to the next lock. So this pre-drafting process sort of Helps with that quite a lot. It also lets you see what you're in for, which in this case is some difficulty spinning the image, which is fun. My other thought for today, once I realized that the sound wouldn't, or not the sound, that the light wouldn't really be conducive to spinning anything colorful, as I was thinking I could finish up spinning on my e-spinner. I have this flax and Southdown blend that I've been putting off for ages. I was thinking I could finish spinning up that, and that might be next on the list. But I just wasn't sure how to set up an e-spinner to be engaging to watch. So we'll have to see. I guess I could finish spinning it on the wheel, but at a certain point I kind of don't want to continually switch tools for one project, because I feel like that leads to so many inconsistencies. And I'm already prone to inconsistencies, so I don't need help with that. How many tags in here? Yeah, I really didn't watch this. Okay, so that is like 4 big nests. That's probably enough to do a bit of spinning. Let's see how we're gonna do this. The one problem with this setup is I'm almost positive you guys won't be able to hear the spinning wheel, because the audio is coming in from my mic, and my mic is very much not pointed at the wheel, which is too bad. But I don't know if I'm going to spin this, or if I'm going to keep this spinning spot again anyway. I really only started out setting up here because I thought the light would be really nice, but it's actually like terrible. So. If there's anything in particular that you're curious and would like me to talk about, just feel free to pop it in the chat. And if you'd much rather just listen to me talk, that's too. I will do that until prompted by chat. So I was making last night. I was making these discard, like sourdough discard chocolate chip cookies. Which ended up turning into cookie bars because I was just way too sleepy. Actually, spoon out the dough. But I just finished baking them like right before I came on stream, and they smell really good. But I'm not gonna get up. I'm definitely not gonna get up. But they probably need a while to cool. It's one of the things with like having rye flour as your sourdough starter feed, because it's the only thing that I feed my starter with, as opposed to like a pretty common feed is like maybe 25% rye and then 75% whole wheat, or 75% all-purpose baking flour. But I do 100% rye just because my starter really likes it. It means that anytime I make something with my rye starter, I'm basically adding a bunch of cultured rye flour to it. So I'm thinking that'll make for some interesting cookies, but I don't know. Let's see. I told my sister she had to have some of them. like as a threat. So at least I don't have to eat them over myself with them. I also gave her my the alpaca that I finally finished spinning and applying and washing and everything. I was hoping to show it off on stream, but ended up just giving it to her then and there. She said she could make a blanket with it, and I was like, better you than me. So, but hopefully she'll at least send me pictures of the blanket. In terms of this CVM, which I think is only like 3 ounces, like 2 or 3 ounces at most. I don't remember what it actually says on the card. But in terms of this, I also have no idea what I'm doing with it. I think when I started spinning it, I was going to make gloves, and then I ended up making mittens out of something else, and I don't make gloves now. So yeah, back to square one of no ideas. It's like soft and spongy. And that's kind of all it's got going for it. Like it's not very strong. It's certainly not very even, which is mostly my fault for not making a better prep. So with that small amount, I'm not sure what to do with it. I might make a good hat or something. Not that I need another hat, but actually I'll need another hat. Let's see. The other thing I was thinking is I could just keep all of this and then like add in a third ply that's a different color. I feel like it would go really pretty with red. Not that I have any red, but yeah, the problem is like the main color I have is green, or else it's naturally dyed. That's the only color I usually buy. So I don't get red with my natural dyeing. One thing that I'm at this point highly considering is adding another ply of whatever color, but that's like actually consistent. Like I think that would help a lot with what will otherwise be an incredibly inconsistent run. But we've got an awful lot to spin. So. So we're totally covered with dust right now. So I'm guessing this is a little bit too early in the morning to be a good stream time. So my next morning stream, I'm going to push back and have it be more of a very early afternoon stream, like 1 p.m., which I think would be more like 8 a.m. GMT, or sorry, not 8 a.m., 8 p.m. GMT or something like that. I've got a couple people in, but I think everybody's about as sleepy as I am. It's totally fine. don't know how I feel about this camera angle necessarily. I like that you guys can see the flyer button, but then like, can't really see the wheel very much. The only other thing I could do to change size. And plus, I will be able to chat. So, but like if I want to use this to be able to see the flyer. It's probably going to be a bit of a shorter stream. My streams are like 45 minutes. Probably just because I have not the chance to take on my weekend, so more time. If I do like the super short stream this morning, I'm gonna end up doing a slightly longer stream in the afternoon. I've enjoyed streaming, especially when I'm like not going to work. Like right now at the moment, I took the week off. But that's kind of like the only time I talk to anyone is at work. My friends are all busy adults. Most of them don't live close by. And I'm a busy adult as well, so that doesn't help. So the streams are like a nice team interaction. Yes. And they give me something with an actual like definite time to. Because otherwise I will literally just wake up and then it again. So, which is always like sort of disappointing, especially if you're taking time off or if it's the weekend. Just sort of lose the whole day to enjoy it. I think the other things that I'm trying to do today are get going on my wheelchair bag. Just both of them. It's probably going to take me. I'll grab one. So that's probably what I'm trying to focus on. But then I've also started to enjoy it. But then I did not have access to the computer that was able to play a game that I could use without my eyes feeling like they were on fire. Sort of. Okay, all these games I can play. I want to do other things on the computer. I was playing Civilization 5 last night, which has been one of my favorite games since it came out. Even though I don't think I've made it to the end even once. Like I've played it so many times, I put so much time into this game, but I always end up either losing interest or dying pretty easily. I was playing it last night, and it's made all geographical neighbors hate me, attack me again. The problem with that game is like aggressive tactics are really not the way to go. But also, if you don't have aggressive tactics, your neighbors still will, and so it kind of doesn't matter. You're going to get the same thing. But at least if you're aggressive, then you're prepared. I don't know. I mean, I say that as somebody who, again, continually dies to this in that game, so probably not giving good advice. Having like moments like either hope or extreme forgetfulness where I'm like, oh, this is actually really nice. And then you get out of that nice section and it's back to the beats. And I go, yeah. Also trying to remove as much VM as I can now rather than looking at it later. There's a lot that's like embedded in there. There was a time earlier in my spinning career where I was like, I don't care if it's a problem, please. Like, I can clean it because I could. It wasn't really an issue, and I liked prepping wool anyway. But now I'm like, the less prep, the better. Fortunately, I have spent the last like 5 years building up a stash of problem fleeces. So I kind of have to reckon with all that, and like I can't really use the tools that I have anymore. So it's kind of kicking my past self for that a little bit. On the other hand, though, I think it's an interesting, I don't think it could be called an actual experiment, but an interesting thought experiment. Because, like, for how long of human history do you think we've had a good way to prepare our spinning fibers? Like, definitely we find bone combs and stuff as grave goods that are pretty old, and undoubtedly those existed for earlier than we think that they did, because like it's not like we found the oldest one ever, right? I'm sure there was one made before that. But like, other than the combs, there's not a lot of good ways to prepare fleece. And if you're not good with combs, then it's still not going to be a very good prep. It's going to be like handfuls of wool instead of a nice long like combed line of wool. So probably there's been an awful lot of spinning done with really subpar preps. And I could easily see there being long periods of human history where the spinner gets better, but the prep never does. And so the spinner just sort of has to get more able to work around the bad prep. I keep myself from being annoyed working with the bad prep. I'm probably not the first guy to run into this problem. And you probably won't be the last. one of the things that was super, super fun was figuring out that you can totally and easily comb wool to a really nice put up on those foaming combs. Like after making a replicate for myself, I was like, oh yeah, this is simple. Like they were living well with those combs. But then for those combs, probably not quite as well off. I know Sally pointed out an interesting that you were making. I don't know what she called them, but like basically fast fiber processing tools out of uh, I think she used thorns, but any sort of tree thorn that's long and sharp would do. Um, and those are probably what was used um, for processing like tree fibers or plants, non-tree fast fibers, that sort of thing, for a while. But having tried to make them myself, it's not easy to make it there. Like, not necessarily intuitive and not easy to make a pair that holds together. And it must have taken a couple thousand years to figure that one out. I don't know. I spend an awful lot of time thinking about like prehistoric fiber techniques, but I don't spend a lot of time reading about it necessarily. It's one of my strong suits at the moment. So I have a lot of questions and I have very few answers, other than like what can be answered with my own experimentation. The other thing with this particular fiber and with any like ill-prepared fiber is that it's always going to be easier to spin on the wheel. I feel like maybe that's purely personal preference, but I don't think it is, because you have both hands free to sort out whatever the fiber is doing, whereas on a drop spindle or a supported spindle, you know, you can make both hands free, but that means a lot more moving your hands around, and like ideally, you're having one hand focus on spinning and winding on. Which is why I was really not having a good time, like, working with this before I carded it on my supported spindles. It's basically impossible. Or at least it was really, really frustrating. Hoping that the audio is actually working for everybody watching the stream, because I've seen no indications that it is. But I can't really fix it on stream, so it's a silent stream. I don't know, I try testing things before I actually go live, but YouTube sort of pulls on different settings than the settings that I have like for my computer. Something like that. So you just never actually know like what it is like, except when watching back streams. So it is that this angle makes it really easy to see like all the slubs. pile of debris and that's why I brought this bucket there. Is that I didn't want to get all this off. And then the thing I found out is like it's not just VM because you know it's always gonna happen like this. It's just what it is what it is. But it's the fucking second test. There's so many second tests. Like higher or better shit. They really like it's like they start to pill as I'm spinning them and then they're sort of embedded into the symbols, but not enough that I could leave them and they'd stay. They won't stay, they'll come out at some point pretty quickly. So I do might as well just take them out now. If it's just I definitely gotta find a project to spend that I'm actively excited about. Mic check. Yeah, hello. She's used to her week without being up there, which it is still up here. It's just it's too immature for her taste. So she keeps like coming up here, hopefully. Oh, there's a good chunk shot. There we go. She keeps coming up here, being like, "Is it done yet?" Dude, the grass takes like months, or not months, but it takes like minimum days. And I think last time it got to the level that she liked, it took about 2 weeks. So it's gonna be a while, buddy. Don't jump up. So bad. Jump up here. Do something else for a little bit. Telling you it's not done yet. I don't even care. I have to check for myself. Can't tell if she's got something else to do or she's just circling. This is the I don't know. I guess like if a cinnamon roll was just made with a sweet pot instead, and it was basically they're so good. They reminded me of I have a ton. Because I like food and sleep that I did for years. So this old chocolate chip cookies today, and then once I finish those, or if I some like rolls with jam inside because they have this blueberry jam that I made, which is really good. But I don't really put jam on. Like I have so much on my jam. I pretty much only bake with it. I don't actually do that as toast. Apologies if you can hear the influence. Covered my knife, but it's worse. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna do the blueberry jam rolls after that, and then after that, I think I shall do poppy seed rolls because they're so good. They're like they've got enough savory elements that they could be savory, but they're also sweetened with honey, so they're slightly sweet and very super delicious. Just how I had yesterday. The traffic signs aren't coming across too much. I mean, ideally not at all, but sometimes it's like a car that's super loud. It's just nobody that's not gonna be. But I don't think I'm gonna sit here again. I don't know what to do about the microphone situation because I know the native microphone on my new laptop is pretty terrible. I didn't listen to it straight from last time. It's not great. But then if I wear this, like even if it's back, I'm pretty sure I can't get my spin, which is definitely a large part of the draw for these people, myself included. So not quite tech savvy enough to have a good clue. I'm pretty much at the end of those 4 nests, one of which is like 3 times bigger than the other 2, so it's really like 6 nests. I think I'll try and make a little bit more, but 40 minutes now. Like one more, but look at all this. It's all the like second cuts and bits of BM and stuff. Gross. I never know how to use that stuff. It's like technically I could do something with it, I'm sure, but I'd have to figure out how to clean it, and then it's so short it doesn't really want to bond to anything. So I'll just probably do this little bit. And maybe for the sake of double checking, because I haven't tried spinning this on my wheel without prep, I don't think, just on my supported spindles. So maybe I'll see what it's like without pre-drafting. See how bad it is. Because if I can skip the pre-drafting step and it doesn't actually make it much worse, then what's the point in pre-drafting? So I know it was like an absolute disaster when I tried to do it on my supported, but this is actually the main thing I'm noticing is that the VM, because a lot of the VM falls out during pre-drafting, because that's the first time it's opened up. And that's actually a really good reason to pre-draft if you have something with a lot of VM, because otherwise, if you just go straight to spinning it, like yes, you open it up, but then 1 second later you're adding twist to it. Whereas with pre-drafting, you're just opening it and letting it stay open. And so there's a lot more opportunity for the VM to actually fall out. Wow. Yeah, that said, this is actually, I think this is a better prep. Oh, it's a little frustrating. But it does mean that I don't have to pre-draft the rest of that. Looks like I should realize that's in there. It's interesting how different tools really determine what you can spin and what you can't. Like, one of the things I currently really enjoy doing is spinning ultrafine cotton thread. There's just something so satisfying about it. Like, so fine that I can barely even see it, which is more of an indictment of my eyesight than it is the thinness of my thread. But it is pretty damn thin. And I can only do it on 2 of my spindles. I cannot do it on any other spindle. I can't do it on my spinning wheel. It doesn't matter how I prepare it. Like, it just only works on my 2 little spindles that are about the weight of a small bird. And anything else, like, I can spin it, but it's going to be way, way thicker. It's not actually going to be cotton thread. And like, there's some short stapled fibers like cashmere or cornmeal, or in some cases satin down. Some short stapled like animal threads that they spin up really well on my mini drop spindle, and they don't spin up that well on anything else. Like, I've tried spinning just straight cashmere on my wheel, but I think part of it's the tension and part of it is having a little bit less control. And there's like the combination of those 2 things just makes it really impossible to spin on my wheel. And it's like, it's not possible to ever get it into a prep that is easy to spin on. My supported spindle's easy either, so I literally only spin it on 1 small drop spindle, which is not something that I would have guessed starting out as a spinner. But like, the more spindles that I make, and I guess in some ways the more I acquire, but I learn a little more when I make them. I don't have very many spindles. I just make them. Like, making some random spindle that can't spin anything. Well, maybe 4 or 5 years down the line, you'll find it actually spins one thing perfectly, better than anything else, but it won't spin anything remotely. And once again, having some rough patches with in terms of, yeah, the locks are just Totally different fleece, and then it's like bits of singles. Like I said, I have 3 very disparate bits of singles because I've also got the ones on my supported spindles currently spinning. So, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all just yarn. Like, I'm not spinning to clothe myself to survive, so it doesn't matter that much. I think I'm going to call it, though. This is where we got to. Of course, you can see on the bottom, it's not terrible. It's definitely more than what we had. There we go. All right. I think we'll be doing another stream around this time again because didn't really get anyone. Like we had some people on, but everyone was a bit too tired to say anything, I think. And I'm also pretty tired, honestly. So probably going to be doing more afternoon streams in the future. And a good thing about that is I usually have a little bit more stamina in the evening. Like this early in the morning, none of my meds have kicked in, so very tired and in a lot of pain. So it's difficult to spin for a long time like that. But we did get like 45 minutes of spinning in, or probably more like half an hour of spinning, 15 minutes of prepping. But still, that's not nothing. Yeah, and I think I'll keep playing with the setup. I was really hoping you guys would be able to see my plants. Pan up a little. I mean, you can, but you can't see any of the details. But rather than knocking everything over. Look at this guy. It might have the name on it. What's it called again? Philodendron Pink Princess Marble. So pretty. I've got a whole bunch of plants up here. And I like sitting here and looking at them, but the light that the plants need is light that I don't need. So it's kind of difficult. All right, I think I'm going to end it here, but thanks everyone for joining. And, see you in the next stream. A good one.